Hi everybody, Zach from Dirty Sexy Words here again with more chat about naughty books. And today I'm going to be talking about two books that are very dear to my heart and probably other parts of me and maybe some other parts of you, because they're two collections of erotic fiction that I edited myself. They are Rule 34, Volumes 1 and now new out Volume 2. Now, for those of you who haven't spent enough time on the internet lately, Rule 34 is an internet concept, basically, which states, if it exists, there's porn about it. So no matter what you can think of, someone somewhere gets turned on by it. Now, this is an idea that kind of intrigued me, and there was a point a couple of years ago where I was getting a bit fed up with a lot of erotic fiction, which was all 50 Shades of shit again and again. You know, submissive woman discovers her true submissive nature at the hands of a bloke in a suit in a high-end fetish club. Ugh, you know, enough. I thought, let's try something different. I'd done a couple of anthologies by then. So I put the word out to the writers and said, send me weird fetishes, something different, something unusual. Don't be mental. Don't send me things that are going to get us all shut down and locked up forever. Like, you know, not like now. And so ultimately we got Rule 34, Volume 1. This isn't the original cover. Some of you who've seen me around for a while might remember that the original cover had multicoloured rainbow pins on it. It changed publishers. Long story, which you probably don't need to hear all the details of, but anyway, it is now published by Sincere Press, though nothing but love and gratitude to the original publishers, Sexy Little Pages, who sadly aren't functioning anymore. Anyway, the first volume of Rule 34 contained 10 different stories on 10 very different themes. We had one about a dominant dentist. So for those of you who have a thing about strict women causing you pleasurable suffering, you might want to check that one out. See, I'm waving a toothbrush around because I'm putting more visual interest into my videos by producing props and waving them at you, and I haven't got a dentist drill. I've got a feeling that if that is your thing, some of the other lamb stall holders probably could supply you with some gadgetry along those lines. So, you know, you can get them things that, what do they call them? Jennings gags. Hold your mouth open. I wrote about one of those in another book. I'll tell you more about that another time. Anyway, dominant dentist. There's also a story about somebody who is aroused by burning buildings, a kinky arsonist. I'm not going to set fire to my bed to give you an illustration of that because, you know, who's got time? The most notorious and talked about story in this collection is called Cheap Meat, and it's about tripe. Yep, the stuff you might feed your dog, or if you are northern and of mature years, you might like to eat. Can't say I've ever been a great fan of it myself, but at the time it did get us a lot of attention. I mean, when the author sent the story and I was like, oh, come on, no, don't be silly. And then I read it and it's like, that's really good, even if it is about tripe. Most fun thing with that was that there is a Twitter account for the Tripe Marketing Board, which is a kind of mix of funny and genuinely suggesting that tripe is an affordable and nutritious foodstuff. So check them out. But I shared information about this book with them, and they retweeted us, and we got quite a lot of traction, which was really, really good fun. So teeth, tripe. What else is in here? And arson. There are many stories. Mine is called And Eddie Still Makes Three, and it's a bit sad. The process of researching the story was entertaining. It was one of those, as any author will tell you, there are times when you think, if I die now and they look at my search history, it's all going to be a bit awkward, because I started out by Googling human taxidermy. I mean, I've often wanted to tell a few people to get stuff, but that's not quite what I meant. And it did end up being a story about how you might preserve something of the one you love once they're gone. It's a nice story, honestly. I'm sure you'd enjoy it. Anyway, Rule 34 remained one of the best regular sellers on the stall in the 2 or 3 years since it came out. So there came a point where I thought, well, let's have a volume 2. So I put out the call again, I got some great stories in, and I ended up getting a touch of what you might call editor's block. So it didn't come out for a while. However, it is now available to buy, Rule 34, Volume 2. Now this contains a different range of interesting stories, not all of which I can illustrate for you again because of sheer practical logics. There's only so much I've got around the house and I can pick up and wave at you. There is a story about a guy who's got a thing for spoons. So here is a handy spoon whisked out of my kitchen to put you in the mood for reading that story, which is called Spoon Man. And it's a nice little het romance with spoons in. There was one about poking, having light poking fetishes. Now this is a good little toy if that's the sort of thing that you like, gentle pokes and prods. Hold it right up to the camera, you can see it. I got that off a fellow Lamb and Lanchester trader. Bear Bite Bondage. Hi guys, this is good. I haven't had much of a chance to use it on anybody yet, but you never know. One of these days we'll all be out and about again, and then I can find somebody and immobilise them with a chunk of rope and poke them with a little pokey thing. All safe, sane and totally consensual, of course, because I only like playing with people who are going to enjoy it. We have one about architecture in here. Somebody's got a thing for brutalist architecture, which may or may not be to your taste, but again, it's a cracking story and some interesting concepts. And there's a topical one. Somebody wrote a story called Fever Pitch, which is about getting turned on by high fevers. I would say, for the sake of the author, this was written a good year ago, if not a bit more. So, you know, it's not cashing in on COVID-19 or nothing like that, and it doesn't, you know, there's no terrible pandemic in it. It's just somebody who finds getting hot gets hot. There's also one about bubble wrap. If you saw the video on my own YouTube channel, which if you haven't checked it out yet is DSW Books on YouTube, I did talk a little bit about bubble wrap in that. Now this is posh bubble wrap from a book distributor, and it doesn't go pop. You can't get the staff or the props these days. But yeah, so that's a story about bubble wrap. And there's one about art as a fetish, which I'm sure there are quite a few of you would have views on and things to say about and things to consider about it. But that's something else to look at. What else do we have? Frights. Oh, there's a brilliant one that's really hard to describe. It's called What Lies Beside. It involves biblical elements and cosplay and complete subjugation and a bit of almost humiliation play, but not quite. It's wonderfully different. We like the stuff that's wonderfully different and strange. Because, you know, the world can be a dull old place. And we don't all like the same things, and that's fine. Your kink is not my kink, but your kink is okay, as long as it's safe, sane and consensual. So I'm testing the teeth out of the backside of the dog today. I hope you are all staying comfortable and as well as can be expected, and not getting too bogged down in despair the longer this goes on. But the Lamb crew and me and others are still going to be here online when we can, trying to bring new ways to liven up your lives, give you stuff to think about. The Lamb live lockdown takes place every Sunday on YouTube. There are links all over your social media that can tell you how to find it and what is coming up, and there's always something different every week. You get the live sessions with the kink shrink, and you quite often will get me rabbiting on about books, plus various other bits and pieces, workshops and so on. It's well worth a watch. What else are you going to do on a Sunday afternoon at the moment? We've all got to do the best we can. So I wish you all the best. I'll be back another time with some more book talk. I might even read you a story next time. If you like my stuff, come and find me on my website, www.dirtysexywords.com, or on Twitter as @DirtySexyWorld, or indeed the YouTube channel, DSW Books. Have a nice kinky week. Have a nice kinky afternoon with all of us on Lamb. See you soon.